Welcome to the Bush League Podcast, a show about nothing and everything.
Sound okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sounds
British,
fine.
British Petroleum.
Peanut butter. Peanut butter.
Yeah, I
The
know.
British Grand Prix.
Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Petroleum jelly.
Yeah, no, these make the beat. We're impervious to them now. Impervious.
Well, then what did I spend $40 on pop filters for?
Cameron's socks have the best sound.
Tyson says crabs.
Is that clip?
Yours do too.
Yeah, but they're mine.
Hey, I had them first.
You could probably get that a little closer to you there, bud.
Yeah. We killed him.
How's Gary got
Listen.
the... Look at Gary's got the...
I found
yeah.
it in my box.
Gary's got the 1992 preacher look going there.
She's a little loose.
If only that was red or yellow or orange.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever smell those things?
No. No.
Like, yeah.
No, I have not.
Nope. I know.
You don't want to. You don't think too much about the stuff that's on microphones. It's
Right, though?
It's disgusting.
When you think about it, how many people have like,
Yeah.
some people like they kiss that thing
Like,
and it's like a community shared
people-
microphone.
People
Ew.
speaking moistly on microphones for
Yeah.
decades, right?
You know,
And then the days when you had these foamy things on top of them is just absorbing that
Absorbing.
stuff over years and years
Yes.
and years because nobody would ever.
And have you
throw
ever
it out.
seen the whole? The classic
Exactly.
is you see the pastor pacing, bouncing it off his chin while he's thinking, and it's like, man, like 6 people have spoken tonight before
Yeah.
you into that same microphone.
It's probably where COVID came from.
Yeah,
it's probably living in the
Windscreens on microphones.
living in
Yeah.
the mic for the last 25 years, waiting to get out.
oh yeah.
Boys,
the mic.
I can only see the glare of the window. I have no idea what's on here.
I can swing the
No,
TV.
no, just tell me if
Looks pretty good.
Tell me if it's not.
Silhouette of
Stuff
a
is
cactus.
bouncing.
No red lights.
No red lights.
All right.
No, everything.
Well, mine is seems to be a little higher than everybody else's.
Well, maybe you should calm down.
Story of our life.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Gary's like, yeah.
He's sitting over there all proud of himself.
Oh man.
Whatever. I'll turn it down later.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll
Sounds
live.
like
If I sound like Cameron in an airplane, that's why.
That's one of my favorite. I love that so much.
The jet fighter, not airplane.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
did sound like a jet fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, boys, here we are talking to each other with socks in our mouths.
Except for Gary, he's got to be special.
Yeah. Doesn't want to be a team player. Doesn't want to chew on one of Cameron's socks.
Mr. Unique.
Oh, you are, brother. There's no question about that.
One of a kind.
Oh man.
So it's good to see you, boys.
Thanks for having us in the cave here, Cam.
Yes, the man cave. It's a meeting place for many.
I'm really just, my brain is struggling.
Meeting place for many, he says. Oh my gosh. Like Fred Flintstone meeting all the workers after work in the cave.
In the rock quarry.
Yeah.
I can't, like in my peripheral here is a Captain America sock pointed at my mouth. And my brain is just like, can't deal with it. You know? It's gonna take, yeah.
It's hard to believe you're in a local Mason's lodge.
Man, that's the second cult I ended up in this week.
Do tell.
Yeah, you got to tell that
I don't know if we should put those words on the podcast. It might get taken down.
Yeah. You could probably do it in a different way, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we have time to think about how to go about it. Yeah.
yeah.
The gist of it is I installed a game, and then I wondered if I was part of a group that
You were being recruited.
celebrated a certain war individual from some years ago.
Cameron, that door is really white.
Well, yes, it is. It's extremely white. Right over by my book collection.
About World War II.
About World War II.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow.
I
What a
didn't-
random thing.
Yeah, it is really random.
So it's essentially you installed something and it somehow got your email.
Yeah.
And then your email was getting spammed by a forum.
Yes.
And then when you clicked on the forum, because it wasn't a bug, like, what is this forum? Here's all this.
Here's all these people on the forum who are taking
a strategy game.
strategy. It's a simulation where you play a certain, country from World War II, and all these guys had their profiles were prominent figures from the war on that side, and you're kind of like, are we just playing here, boys? Or, you seem pretty excited about, anyway. So I get it.
Wow.
That. I was like,
the country inside of the belt there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's quite a thing to get pulled into, Jay.
Yeah. I mean,
There's a lot
he
of
went from
stuff.
he went from World of Warcraft to
well,
you were a World of Warcraft junkie though, weren't you?
not Warcraft 2.
Warcraft, that was it. Warcraft.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, it's because you get into this stuff because the old games, which I only play. I only play games unless they're at least 30 years old. And then you got to go through all these hoops and loops to get them to work on modern machines.
Yeah.
And you find a guy who did a mod so it'll work. And so here you are running install files from random people on the internet. What could go wrong?
Yeah. There's nothing bad on the internet.
But be it resolved, all those older strategy games are better than the new strategy games.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, and they were like Warcraft 2 the campaign is hard. Like it's, it's, usually you go back to games and you're like, you just kind of
You think, oh, that was easy.
run through them and you're like, no, it's
Warcraft. I liked Warcraft 1. I
Yeah.
loved Warcraft 2. They honestly made it better.
yeah.
Yep.
Age of Empires was good.
Yeah.
Age of Empires 2 was the better one. though.
StarCraft 2.
Yes.
I had hours into StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
Really?
But you know what?
Yeah.
StarCraft.
But
either.
even by the time StarCraft 2 came around,
Yeah.
like you could change the difficulties, and even if you put it on like the hardest one, I'm not a pro, but I could beat it.
Yeah.
And I felt like on the original one, if I put it on hard, it was
No,
I could
not a
do
prayer.
it.
Yeah.
Diablo was another one. The original
I
Diablo.
was going to say.
Diablo was hard.
It
Oh,
was
man.
it was hard. Like you couldn't. Anyways.
Are you a hockey fan, interested in collecting hockey memorabilia, or know someone who is? 506 Breaks is the Facebook group for you. Often imitated, never duplicated. 506 Breaks is your place to get and win signed hockey jerseys, pucks, and picks. Home of the $5 headliner, dynamic duos, and the insanely fun Sunday Fun Day. 506 Breaks will fulfill all your hockey collecting needs. And you meet other collectors while doing it. So stop by and give Stu a hello from us. Check out 506 Breaks.
It just feels like games now. You can beat them. What are you doing there, Cam?
Picture.
He was
Dancing.
taking a selfie with that sock
Like-
in front of his face.
I'm trying
Whatever-
so I can have it because no one ever gonna
Whatever
believe that.
picture you just took, I'm assuming it's a complete
You got to
blur.
open your mouth a little wider.
Oh, guys.
Yep.
Thank you, Gary.
Well, I'm opening up wide for Captain America over here. That's what I'm just saying. That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, man.
Not the first time I heard that.
So people at home are like,
Gary?
What is wrong with you guys?
I just realized We haven't explained at all
Yeah, a
what
little
we're talking
pretext
about.
here.
So I forgot the pop filters for today. And in a pure desperation, we're at Cameron's place in his man cave, the Mason Lodge, whatever. And he ran out to his room and got 2 pair of what I hope are clean socks.
Even though
And we put them over the microphones. So when you hear Jeremy has a Captain America sock shoved in his face over this microphone, and for whatever reason, me and Cameron have crabs all over the microphone.
Yeah, but more about the microphones, though.
More the microphone. I paused just enough for Jeremy to get his soundbite that he'd want for after.
Here, you guys are pros now. 31 episodes in, everyone
Sock
knows
right
what's
in my
going on.
face.
We're still professionals.
Wow.
Yeah. So it helps with the plosives.
Yeah.
Yes.
The plosives.
Peanut butter British Petroleum.
British Petroleum.
No one says it like Gary says it.
Gary?
British Petroleum.
That has to be the name of this one, doesn't it?
British Petroleum?
Wow.
Yeah, BP, yeah.
There's no way we can get in trouble for that. No.
First thing we're going to get from legal BP. Hey,
Yeah.
you guys can't use our...
Can you imagine?
That'd be awesome.
Spell it wrong.
31 episodes in, we're talking about like types of hotels we build, and then all of a sudden an entire hour devoted to taking down British Petroleum.
Yeah.
Just a whole hour of facts and figures about how terrible they are.
So backtrack. Did you find this game online?
Well, so I used to have every game I get interested in. It's because I used to have a game years ago that was similar.
Okay.
So I had this game. It was called Tom Clancy SSN, and it ran on Windows 95, and it was a submarine simulation game. As much as you could simulate sub games in 95.
So do you just wake up one random morning and be like, hey, I remember playing Tom Clancy SSN?
It's literally that. It's exactly that. And I do that with songs too, because Trish is always like, why are you singing that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll just start singing.
That little guy in his brain was running around and said, oh, there's a switch.
Yeah.
A random song from when you were 12 years old?
All over the place. It's just, I won't have heard it. I won't have had the radio on 1031 in Moncton's classic rock, but all of a sudden I'm going around the house and I'm like, right now, it's your tomorrow. Right now, it's everything. Right? Van Halen. Not even one of the more bigger, it was a big one, but
Not one of the more popular ones.
yeah, not one of the more. And then a few days later, I'm like, do 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 do.
Cameron, that's The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
There you go. Right?
Wasn't that the entrance music for BBC's
No.
F1?
No.
No.
Well, speaking of that, right? A few days later, maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down. Maybe I should have put a playlist out
Until
there, Jeremy.
tomorrow.
I'll just keep moving on. Do, 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 do.
You guys would have probably the most wild playlist because you guys span so much music.
Well, that's what happens, and it comes from no trigger at all from anything. I didn't think about that.
No.
Just pops into my head.
And I've noticed my tastes have changed dramatically,
yeah.
but I still like everything I've ever listened to.
Yeah.
It's there's stuff that I wouldn't have listened to earlier in my life that now I will.
Yeah.
I've moved on from Aqua. I did like Aqua back in the Barber Girl. I thought was a good song. I've moved on from that.
I can't tell if you're serious.
CD,
or not.
I am
wasn't
being
it?
serious.
That was
Yeah,
your
it
first
was.
CD.
That was the first CD I ever bought. Was
That was his
Aqua.
first CD?
Yeah, I can't believe you remember that.
I remember.
Gary was probably with you.
So I could
Probably
sort of
took
stopped.
you there. I could see Jeremy. I'm going to take Aqua. I could see Jeremy or Gary looking at him
Yeah.
going, "What are you doing?"
But it wasn't about that. It was all about Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones. You're
right.
calling Dr. Jones.
See, no one can make fun of me. Everyone knows it.
We were having dinner the other day, and Denver said something about my music, and I said, "Okay, there, Jimmy Ray." And I thought my sister was going to lose it because that was one of his first CDs. Remember, the guy had only one hit. Remember Gary and Much Music? Are
even know
you
what you're
Jimmy
talking
Ray? Are you Steve? It was just, that's all it was, the whole song. Who ought to know? Who ought, one hit wonder. Never heard of the guy again.
That song.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Gary, what was your first CD you must have bought? Because you must remember.
Oh, tape First tape was probably
Well, I was gonna say it depends what you're talking about. Everyone obviously has a first CD, but
the
we're
one
talking
first
about the
one
first
I bought
band.
myself.
Yeah.
The first one I bought myself would probably Lagwagon.
You
'Cause before
owned a
that-
Lagwagon CD?
Yeah, it costs.
I don't
There's
remember
no
that.
judgment in that.
No tape. It was a tape. It wasn't a CD.
Okay.
It was a cassette.
A cassette?
Oh gosh.
Wow.
I don't remember. I don't even remember
That
you
was
having
Haas.
that.
That
Jeremy's
was
like,
like
"What's
the
a
old
cassette?"
cowboy from
Yeah,
Ponderosa on the
yeah,
front of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I had that one. Had violins and stuff on it. That was probably the first tape I got myself.
Wow.
Everything
Wow.
before that, somebody had bought for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've never bought a cassette tape.
Because I feel like my first CD was DC Talk Jesus Freak, but I didn't buy that for myself.
No, what did you buy yourself? Do you remember? You've
I
bought.
think it was Clumsy by Our Lady Peace. I
Okay.
think.
Oh yeah.
If it goes back to the first one that I asked for and somebody got me, it was probably Michael W. Smith, Go West, Young Man. I was a 9-year-old kid or something who loved the song My Place in This World.
I like the Mark Lowry
Looking
version.
for a reason, roaming through this life to find my place in this world. Little 9-year-old kid running around singing that.
In that exact bass.
Yeah. Blasting the Michael W. Smith. Just blasting it.
Oh man. I remember I got a Weird Al cassette when I was a kid, and I thought I had it made.
Yeah.
Living in the fridge instead of living on the edge.
In the fridge. You thought you were being a rebel.
Yeah.
Man, did you have that?
Yeah, I had it on a tape or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cover looked like Jurassic Park, but it was a ripoff. Yeah.
It's been there a month. Yeah.
Oh man, that tape also had the didn't it have Gangsta's
Yeah,
Paradise?
Amish Paradise.
Amish Paradise. Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite ones. A little
Man,
boy
oh, yeah.
kicked me the other day.
I remember I used to. Jay, you might, because I think we had the same music teacher by fluke because he moved around or whatever, but shall remain nameless because he's passed away. But I think I was one of the only kids in the class that could actually play anything. But I almost failed music. It was like my lowest mark in middle school. But I remember, and he didn't believe me. I remember because I was with Brad, actually, in his car. We were kids. We were like 12 years old. And we all had to bring in something to play a song for the class and talk about the song. And the only tape that I had that I thought I could play for this class and possibly not get made fun of, right, was this Weird Al tape. So we're listening to it in Bruce and Nancy's car. And the tape player eats my tape.
Oh no.
And I go in the next day and he's like, he is not believing me. Like he is not, it's a full on, I think I got a 60 in music class.
Nothing like the old tape that all of a sudden you hear it unravel and see it just start piling up inside. You're like, oh, that's not good.
All kids today don't know. Looking for a pencil so you can shove it in the hole and spin it to
and
try to
spin it
wind
to
the
put
tape
it all
back up.
back together. Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
so many of my notes, if I could ever see them again, but I remember them being super thick, thin, lightly colored gray writing because the lead would get completely round and I would just not get up and go sharpen it. So like it would, you know what I mean, eh? When the point would go down, it would get wider and like brighter.
And depending on the angle now, the wood is scraping against the...
Yeah.
So you're missing some of the letter.
Yeah.
And the whole right of your palm is like full of black lead and anyways.
Yeah, I think every kid should have to go back and take a tape out of a tape player and slowly,
That's stuck and not rip the tape.
Stuck and not rip it. You remember how precise you were? You're like, okay, I'm gonna take the front off. Okay, the front's off. Good. We're this far. I was like, slide the tape back slowly. Okay, and then you're like slowly going with a pencil,
Weaving it out, yeah.
You're slowly pulling it a little bit at a time. You're watching one of the reels spin. You're like, okay, we're so good so far. And then all of a sudden it would snag. You're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Or there was always the classic, Gary might remember this too, but side A is awesome,
Oh yeah.
but side B is not.
It's literally why they call it B-sides.
Because you can turn the
That's
tape
why
around.
it's called
Yeah, but
B-sides.
then you're sitting there with a pencil or a butter knife, rewinding it by hand, so you didn't have to listen to or fast forward through side B, so you could get side A again. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, speaking of, so what was the Weird Al one about the Flintstones?
Yabba Dabba Doo, the chili peppers.
Yeah,
Give
it
it
was
away.
chili pepper. Give it away. That's right. Yabba dabba, yabba dabba, yabba doo now.
Oh man, I feel like I can
Bernie
remember.
Rubble was a little wiener. Had a baby elephant vacuum cleaner. That's fantastic.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Oh man,
Eat it. That was my favorite one. Eat it.
gosh.
Funny, he's been around for a long time and has made fun of everybody, but every band that he does it to takes it as like a badge of honor. They're like, Weird Al took my song.
He's been said no to very little, right?
Yes.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Yeah, like he has been said no to, but not.
Yeah.
And if you said no to, obviously you got to try to find a way to go around it to make it similar, but not. You know what I mean? Like,
I've seen him like in interviews and stuff too, and like he's a very like thoughtful, funny guy. Like you'd think he might be like awkward or something, but he's like very.
No, he's very.
but he's
well-
had bands come to him and say, "Hey, would you like to parody one of our songs?" And he's kind of like. Sure. And then he's got to try to figure out now, how do I make this so good that they're going to want to come back to me again?
What a career. Some career.
made a living off it.
Yeah.
Big money.
Yeah.
Back to your game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why we were
Tom
talking about
Clancy
that.
SSN.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No idea why we were talking about any of that. I completely forgot. Yeah.
Anyways, quick the segue, Gary.
Well, the thread's all connected up here.
Yeah, that's why we pay Gary the big money to be here.
Gary's the moderator. All right, boys, let's get back on track here, boys.
Yeah. But to your point, I do the random thing with songs. I do the same thing with games. It'll pop into my head. I'll be like, I used to play this game with no prompting. And then I get obsessive about playing it again. And then I spend, because all the games I like are 30 years old, on worked on file systems that are no longer in use.
Windows 95.
Then I scour the internet and then I find a forum where it's like, hey, there's a guy who makes a thing that you can install and it works.
No judgment from me, man. I went through that last year with Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Roller Coaster
I
Tycoon?
just needed to get it out of my system.
Yeah.
I went to the supermarket. I couldn't find it in a cereal box, so I had to find another way.
You imagine? Ask the cashier. You still have Roller Coaster Tycoon in the Cheerios boxes? You still have a box of those around? They're like from 20 years ago.
Just a minute.
I'll cut through the mold and get to it.
No, and you're locked in. They'd probably go to the back. Hey, we found one.
It was underneath this shelf. The forklift must have pushed it under there 20 years ago.
20 years of dust on it. I think it's still good.
Man.
For me, it's trying to find Civilization, the original one. You have to play it in DOS. Yeah.
Is it like a text-based game?
No. But it was one of the first strategy games.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
Well, I played the Civilization ones, but like, I think starting from 2 and up. I don't think I played the original one.
yeah, the original. Well, the second one came out for Windows 90.
5?
No, before 95.
Oh, 3.1?
I think it was actually 3.1. Yeah. But the old game thing, I understand. Like, it's just like you want to play. Like, it's like video games for me. It's like, that's why I build retros that have my retro games. It's kind of like, I want to play Bionic Commando because I never beat it when I was a kid and I'm going to do it now. So after 25 minutes of playing it, I'm like, I still suck at this game. I hate this game. That's why I never beat it.
Angrily uninstall it.
Man, the Ninja Turtles Nintendo game.
That is hard.
Did you beat it?
Which one? The first one or the second one?
First one.
No.
I don't know anybody that's beaten it.
No, it's impossible. It's impossible.
Is it possible?
Let's look up. There's probably a speed run on YouTube.
Well, that's, I watch these guys on YouTube and I get so mad. It's like, I beat Mario, the original, in less than 10 minutes. I'm like, I hate your guts because I'm trying to get every coin and every point. And meanwhile, it's kind of like you see this guy, I'm in level 2 and he's on level 5. And I'm like, how did he get that?
I mean, like, it's not satisfying to
skipping
watch.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they skip stuff. They figured out the bare minimum of everything that you need to do in order to advance.
Get to the end.
Well, it's
And-
funny because of there was that game years ago. Nintendo had a game, big tournaments, right? I think it was 92 or 93, maybe 94.
Oh yeah, it's when the Power Glove came out.
Well, yeah, but they had there's a cartridge that they put in, and it plays the game for so long, and then it switches to another game, and then it switches to another game. So as you're playing,
wasn't there a movie?
no, that was.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Nintendo had a competition, and they got all the kids from all over the country to show up, and it was a cartridge, and when you shoved it in, it would play Mario for 4 or 5 minutes. Then it would switch over to another game. They had to play it for 4 or 5 minutes. Then it would switch over to Tetris. What they figured out was if you're in Mario and you die, you can go back and get more points. Because going forward, there was less things to get, like less coins, less everything like that.
Okay.
So this guy figured out, if I play the first 2 minutes and die and go back to the beginning, my points still go up. They don't lose their points. So he was gaining more points. And then he went into Tetris, which he apparently played on his Game Boy for like a year. And that's how he won. He just kept building points. And yeah, it's a cartridge. And you can actually see it. It's gold. One's silver, one's gold. And it's a switch on the bottom of it. It has A, B, C, and D on it.
You say gold, I picture either Gauntlet or the Game Genie.
Or Pokemon.
It almost looked like a Game Genie.
Yeah.
But the movie you're thinking about is called
Fred Savage was in it, wasn't
Game Master?
Something like that.
Yeah.
They had to get him to this tournament on time.
His brother.
And they didn't know what they were going to have. Like his brother or something was special and was really good at games. But then they get him to this game tournament and they unveil Super Mario 3.
Mario 3. Yeah.
But nobody had, the game wasn't out yet when this movie was out. And everyone was losing their minds.
So in
Mario
the theater,
can fly.
in the theater, everybody got to see Mario 3.
Got to see Mario 3 for the first time. Like, whoa. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's no surprises anymore. Everything's leaked. It's sad.
Well, it was a craze back then, right? Like everything's leaked online now.
Yeah,
there is
no surprises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, true story.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Are you looking for it, Cameron?
I have to now.
Roller Coaster Tycoon, though.
I've never played that. The Wizard.
It reminds you of Sims. It's strangely addicting.
The Wizard was the name of the movie.
Mortimer
Who's Mortimer?
from The Sims.
Yeah.
It's my arch rival.
Gary, how can you have... Okay, listen. How can you have an arch rival in a digital world?
Was he the neighbor that would complain or no?
I think I hit on his wife by accident. And we became natural enemies after that.
Yeah. I know what you said too. You walked right up to her and you're like, oh, that's how they sounded.
Wow.
Yes, I don't know. My first encounter with him in the game was very angry, and that just picked up from there.
Wow.
Seriously, only Gary can have a digital nemesis.
Man. I think I remember you vehemently hating Mortimer.
For some reason, I even remember his name. That was like 25 years ago or something.
Wow, that's bad.
His name is still etched in my brain.
Mortimer. Man, you can't settle a score with a virtual character that doesn't even run on machines anymore.
I guess I could if I went and downloaded the game again.
Which is going to do it.
You keep an eye on him. He's going to be downloading that game. He's going to get angry in his office.
It's time to mend some fences, Mortimer.
Or burn them down. Mortimer.
This has gone on for long enough.
Let's bygones be bygones. Now I've installed you and I've uninstalled you.
Yeah.
I win.
Man, I got nothing like that, Gary. That's a lot.
Yeah, Gary took it to a new level.
Oh, it's very personal.
I see that.
Do you know what game I tried to download and find? Was the F1 game we used to play.
Oh,
99 2000.
Yep. That was EA Sports one, wasn't it?
EA Sports one, yeah.
It's in the game.
Yeah, I could not figure that game out. I couldn't do anything in that game.
Oh, yeah. Listen to this name. You put him in a rally game, and he's like, yeah. Oh, I'm not very good at rally games, boys. So all of a sudden, it's like, just starts beating everybody. It's like, have you played this game? No. I'm not too great at it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the rally ones are good, but I remember that F1 game. It looked awesome. I remember the graphics of it. It looked great, but
Gary's Thrustmaster. Sure, it all
You know what's funny? Like, you talk about those games and those wheels. I just have memories of you sitting in front of the wheel for what felt like hours doing the calibration.
Yes.
Constantly calibrating the paddles
The gas
and the
pedals,
wheel.
yeah. The gas and the brake were behind the steering wheel. No, I went looking for that and cannot find it online. Never found another one like it. I was like, I wonder if that's online somewhere. I was like, no. Yeah. Yeah, but you'd calibrate it and you'd think you would get it.
Yeah.
And the center would be off. So the second you'd let the wheel go, it would like all of a sudden you're turning like 90 degrees to the right into a wall.
Yeah, like I picture the little cursor on the screen bouncing around everywhere.
Yeah.
And you trying to get it straightened out. And
Yeah.
Because the first time you used that game was on that NASCAR game. What was it called? Where you could customize the cars.
Yep.
That was
NASCAR racing, I think is all it was called.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because you had
Ned Jarrett.
you had the DuPont, but it was all green.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that.
I remember making the NWO car.
You did? Yeah, I remember the NWO car. Yeah. Gary and his Hewlett Packard. I bet that's still somewhere late in my mother's house.
Packard Bell.
I think we gave
Packard
it to my
Bell.
aunt.
Did you?
Yeah.
There's a guy I work with the other day. Like Packard Bell is a name I've never heard other than when you had that computer.
Yeah,
And
he was
like-
the only person I knew owned one.
Yeah, and we were talking the other day, and he's like, yeah, we used to have a computer at home. It was like a Packard Bell, and I was like, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, you had the Packard Bell. Which one did you have? He's like, oh, like the speakers were like mounted on the side, and they'd slide off. I'm like, yes,
That's it.
yes, that's the one.
And it had purple on it. And it had like
Yeah.
a wavy thing, and like it kind of had like plastic was molded.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking about all those games. When you mentioned that computer, the first thing I think
Ski
of
Free.
is Beavis and
Beavis and Butthead.
Hockaloogie.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, he was a mouse. You'd move the mouse, and it slid Beavis or Butthead across the top of the
Spit on
building.
people.
And you'd hold in the left click to time the loogie, and it would, the longer you held it, the more he'd like.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just remember your mom walking by the hall anytime we're playing that game being, oh, boys.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And when it make the noise, and Gary's speakers were like maxed out 90% of the time.
because if you could hit the car, it was like the most points because it was the furthest away and went the fastest. But there was some other. So you remember Ski Free?
Yeah.
The abominable
Abominable
snowman would run out, and then there was that adventure. What was it called? It was like a puzzle game that had keys, and you had to solve the. You had to try to solve. What was that called? I'm not gonna remember it
I
now.
don't remember that one.
I had an arcade in my garage.
yeah, you had actual arcade machines.
Yeah, that's the one. NASCAR.
NASCAR,
I played a lot of-
1996.
I played a lot of Sega Rally.
Oh.
Yeah, there was an arcade version with the steering wheel
the
and the
good
gas.
version.
The gas was on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when Daytona 500 came out. It was just called Daytona 500.
Oh, yes.
It was good.
It wasn't bad. My thing was Virtual Racer. That was like, actually, the very first race car game I ever remember playing in an arcade was Hard Driving.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the seat pulled out. It was like, it actually had the best.
For me, it was honestly, there was a sit-in version. As bad as these graphics were, they went to all the effort to make a sit-in version of Grand Prix.
Are you kidding?
And the graphics were atrocious.
Oh, yeah, but it was awesome when you're in it.
Like,
what about the bike one? The motorbike one?
pixelated, yeah.
Suzuka, the 8 hours of Suzuka. You get on this bike, and it's a full bike, and you're like,
Oh, if you were a kid, that was throwing you right off that thing.
oh, yeah.
What
You're
a
like,
death trap that thing was.
Like,
It weighed a ton.
Yeah, if
So
you-
lean into it to take the turn. There you go. I can't get back up.
So when you get older, you realized you kind of didn't sit on the seat. You put your feet on
had to
both
put your feet
sides,
on the side,
both
yeah.
sides, and just use your hands
Oh,
to
that
pull the
weighed a
bike. But it was
ton.
heavy.
Cruising USA was good too when it first came out.
Mm.
And if you got good at it, you could find all the hidden trails on the.
Oh yeah.
Gary, Chips Challenge.
Chips Challenge.
Chips
Oh, man.
challenge.
That look familiar?
Nope.
Nope.
Really?
Gary can remember the first tape he ever bought.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was you that had that.
I think, boys, we're starting to realize that we're getting old because now
Wow.
we're trying to go back to the old.
Oh,
Yeah,
old
the listeners are
games.
probably having a blast today listening to this one too.
Yeah, if they know what we're talking about.
I would like to think some people know some
Yeah, I
of those.
guarantee
they
you.
have to.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, man.
Gary and Mortimer.
Mortimer. Now I'm going to have to go download that game just to play it and look at Mortimer and go, I think I should be your friend.
Oh, man, for me,
a good
for the
friend
longest time.
would download The Sims and attack Mortimer on Gary's behalf.
Yeah.
Stand up for him.
Do you know what? There's probably a hack or a mod in there for like for like a drive-by.
That's the same with me, Gary. I understand.
Well, that's not what I thought we were.
Wow.
Here'd be like a hack or a mod in there, so you get him like. You could yell at him or something. And Gary's like, no, this should be like a mod. Or you could like burn his house down with him inside it or something.
You drive by, shoot Mortimer, take.
Tell me in Duck Hunt you never wanted to shoot the dog for laughing at you.
Well, everyone wanted to do that.
I just picture the mod now. Drive by, shoot Mortimer, take his wife, leave.
Burn his house on the way by.
Wouldn't it be cool if there was a mod where you could like, you could damn Mortimer into an eternal lake of fire? Just like, some kind of cool thing like that. Like,
Do you know what? Between the four of us, I'm sure we can figure something
Boys,
out.
I got a
Mortimer's in
confession time, though.
what did you do?
I never played Sims.
Really?
Neither
Yeah.
did I.
Really?
Cameron,
Never
we've
did.
got our matching crab socks. We've never played Sims.
Tyson, get your hand off my shoulder.
My time with Sims was short-lived.
Mortimer broke his
He
spirit.
took it from you. Yeah.
But I do sympathize with your feelings towards Mortimer, because for a long time, that was my feelings towards the color purple. Because for whatever reason, when I played Warcraft
The
2
Oprah movie?
in custom, the orcs were purple. And every time I'm walking out in public, I see someone wearing purple, I want to start mining right away and cutting down trees. What are you doing, son? Building a tower. The neighbor's wearing purple today.
I want to start mining. I start cutting down. I start building.
Well, you need resources first. I got to build the farm before I build the tower.
What are you doing, Dad? They probably got a barracks up already. They're sending fronts right now. Build a tower so we can reduce the fog of war.
Oh, I hope people have played Warcraft to understand
No,
that.
I don't know if anyone has.
I never did either.
What?
No.
What are you talking about?
I believe I've said what I said. And
Well, what did you play? You were playing racing games.
Uh,
You weren't playing.
yeah, Civ. I was playing Civilization, Civ 2, and then I would play Age of Empires, and
Age of Empires.
then I played race car games.
I played a lot of Age of Empires too.
Did you play StarCraft though?
No,
So you skipped. You were just boycotting Blizzard. You were not a Blizzard guy.
I didn't realize I was.
I loved Warcraft.
But I did play World of Warcraft once. I did
Okay.
play that.
The World of Warcraft. It's not the same.
No, I know it's not the
It's the
same.
same.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't
Warcraft
I play
2 was
Wait,
That's
so
still a
good.
thing, eh? Like
Who
there's
made
Then
still
they
a lot of people.
then they overcomplicated it.
I played
Wh-
Command
which
and
one?
Conquer.
After
Oh, yes.
Warcraft 2, like I don't mind Warcraft 3,
Yeah.
but they started to overcomplicate things. Like this guy can have 10 different powers, and this girl has 5 different powers, and then this
Yeah.
guy has 3 different powers, and you have all
There's
the
a bunch of different
heroes
races
and stuff. And in World War II, it was like, no, collect resources, build an army, kill the other guy.
Yeah.
That was Warcraft 2.
Yeah. Well, and really the races were exactly the same. It's just like they looked different. You know what I mean? What's going on here?
Nothing. What are you talking about, Jeremy Walsh?
Jeremy is
Walsh.
Jeremy Walsh.
Shout out.
Shout out Jeremy Walsh. haven't seen him in 30 years.
Cameron's gambling with our lives right now. All of our audio is on one source on his TV, and he just completely switches it to the race.
You want to live on the edge, boys? We'll shut the screen off.
We're
We won't
living
even
in
know
the
if we're
fridge.
Won't even know if we're recording or not.
recording.
But would that wouldn't work that way, would it?
Living in the
What?
fridge.
It might have.
Yeah, but if something
Oh, yeah,
crashed, we wouldn't
Oh,
know.
it'll
it
work. I know.
crashed.
It'll work. You just won't know. That's
That's awesome.
It's like driving with the gas needle on E. You know, it's like you don't know when it's gonna happen.
Now it depends. If it's an old truck, back in the day when it was on E, you knew you still had to have a tank. Because there are people seriously that had trucks like that. It was like, hey, you're on E. Yeah, we got half a tank. I'm like, what? And so when they fill it, it would go to half. I'm like, why are you only at half? Oh, we're full. do you think you should get that fixed? Oh, we're fine.
Or the classic,
all relative.
was it the old Dodges that had the meter was on the top half of the tank? However it was installed. So like when it was full, it was full. But when it was empty, it was not empty. So like the little ball in the thing might be saying empty, but no, you still got 20 liters in there.
Oh, it wouldn't take much because like if it was that rod, the little rod in there bent at all, it threw off the.
Yeah.
Gary, you said it was all relative. Were you teeing me up here?
No, let's go.
Are you teeing me up?
Let's go.
Nobody wants to hear any of that.
It's all relative.
To sum it up, you talk about these random things that I do,
which is a lot.
I was like, Einstein. Hear a lot about him. Don't really know what he did. So I just started looking into it, and I spent like several hours on YouTube watching videos.
When did Seinfeld come into the room?
And then
Einstein.
I said, "What's he about anyway?" If you've got a lamp, why do you want shade?
I'm sorry, sir, your reservation, your car's not here. I don't think you understand the whole point of a reservation.
These pretzels are making me thirsty. But I was like, I don't even know what he really did. What he did. He's like the greatest physicist ever. So I started watching all these videos about the general theory of relativity, and it blew my mind. Yep, gravity doesn't exist, and I'm just going to leave it at a cliffhanger.
Why don't you hop out the window here and we'll see how gravity does not work.
You know what?
And I'll be down the ground telling you it does.
I'm saying it wrong. Gravity's not a force like Newton thought it was. That's what it was. It's not a force.
It exists, but it's not a force.
It's a result of space-time being curved.
What's going on?
Yeah.
It is the curvature.
It is the curvature. That's
It's a
right.
combination, right? The curvature of the Earth times the Earth spinning and the Earth rotating around the sun.
Yep.
In the universe that we're within, rotating around the sun with the other planets around it, and the forces that are exerted upon you, you will fall.
You will fall.
Making gravity, but gravity isn't a force pulling you. You are falling.
I could not love you anymore. I couldn't love you anymore. Yeah.
Okay. You two need a minute.
Also,
I took arts.
Time is relative.
Yeah.
It's not absolute.
It's not absolute.
In Newton's world, the time here on Earth was the same as it was on, Saturn. But that's not true. It's all relative. My time can be different than yours depending on how much faster you're going than me.
Gary, what did you do?
What's in this coffee?
Yeah.
What did you give that boy before he walked in here?
Like, I don't know.
Well, McDonald's
This is
coffee's got something
This
in
is
it.
relativity coffee.
Relativity.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, now I'm going to have to look all that stuff up now. Thank you for that.
We really don't want it.
I like how he says he only spent several hours, which we all know is a lie. He spent like
A lot of time, yeah.
We know at least 4 days in Wikipedia, which took him from Einstein somehow. He's somewhere down into nuclear fission.
I don't even know if you've said anything more true than that. That's
true.
the truest thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I got into all this back when string theory was getting popular.
Oh, yeah?
That was like 10 or 12 years ago, probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, the theory of relativity's been around since 1916, so I'm just getting up to it now.
I'm a little rusty.
Too bad you didn't get into Bitcoin that long ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Should check on my Bitcoin.
I saw a meme one time. It was kind of burned into my mind. So StarCraft II we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
When it first came out, like 2012, someone had hosted a tournament where it's like first place, you get, $100, second place, $50, third place, 25. And fourth place was like 50 Bitcoin because it was new, right? It just
It
came
wasn't
out.
worth anything.
Yeah,
Like but then you wanted the money.
Yeah, you wanted the money. Like, you're like, I want this stupid, like, what is this Bitcoin anyway? It's not even. Imagine if you won that, forgot you had it, and in your e-wallet or whatever,
Well, back then
Yeah,
it probably
but-
wasn't even an e-wallet. It would have been just on a flash drive
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, it would have
it's-
been.
It's down almost a full percent.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you got 20 years. Hey, what's on this? Click. 50 Bitcoin. Well.
Yeah. That's when you can walk in and take a big dump on your boss's desk and just leave.
Oh my gosh.
Do Jeremy, you're putting way too much thought into this.
I wonder what I'm going to do if I...
Heads up. I wouldn't go.
Let's call you Amber Heard.
I wouldn't even go. Well, I can't say that. I would go. I'd go and I'd still stay at work.
I want to say I would
be
not
spiteful.
do that. I like my boss. I would never do that to him. However, I would say I would wish to no longer work here.
That's the way to resign.
I wish to no longer work here.
If only people would like and subscribe to this podcast.
Yeah.
Share it with
Hey,
their
listen,
friends.
there's a challenge. If we get 100,000 people to like and subscribe, I will take a dump on my boss's desk. I'll put the challenge out. We can record the whole thing. That's how we'll get rich.
Oh, man.
That's how we'll get rich, boys.
My
100,000
boss,
people.
my boss works from home, so that could be a little awkward in that case.
Gary, what are you doing here? Gary, what are you doing?
Why are you climbing on that?
Wow, Gary.
And then what? You're taking a dump and you're screaming at him, 100,000 subscribers!
Do you remember? I remember there's one episode of since last episode we talked about Jackass for a minute. But there's one Aaron McCahey
Oh,
was
yeah.
supposed to do this prank where he walks into like the home hardware
The
or whatever,
hardware store.
and honestly uses the bathroom in the display
Yes.
toilet. So they gave him all this food or whatever so he'd be able to go. And then they're getting ready to film and the cameras come on. You can see them all clearing out of the van. He doesn't make it.
Oh, that's terrible.
And you can hear it before, guys, I don't know. Guys. Like, what did you give me? Guys. Oh, no, guys. Oh, no.
I forgot about that part because I remember the scene of him. He's in the middle of the floor. And he pulls out a
Newspaper. Customers walking by.
picked up in the display toilet.
I don't know how they didn't get arrested more often.
I know. And honestly, like when I think of it, it's funny, but at the same time, I'm like, oh,
That's gross.
That's
That's a
terrible.
little
That's
over the
terrible.
line,
Yeah, like I just wouldn't do that to people. You
No.
you don't need to do that to people.
No,
you're
but
a
someone
decent
else doing it and filming it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
true story though.
Well, you know, so I don't know if I don't know. So your boys are too old. Are your guys into Blippi at all?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
quite familiar.
You're quite familiar
Quite
with Blippi.
familiar.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know Blippi.
Yeah.
I've gone through
Right.
2 cycles of it now. Now there's a new Blippi.
Yeah, I know. And they just tried to slip him in there.
And Phil and Angie's little, like, Jarena was right into Blippi.
Oh, okay.
Right into
oh,
Blippi.
yeah, makes sense. Anyway, so it's one of those things that's on in the house all the time, right? Like this,
Like
you
white
know,
noise?
I know all the songs about the excavators and all this. It's like, so eventually you've watched enough. I'm like, I wonder what this dude's about. Anyway, so you start Googling.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody does this though.
Everybody does this, right?
He's got his own like video warehouse and all this
Yeah, he's
stuff
got
and
his own
everything
thing.
in Vegas. Like,
Well, you search them, and this BuzzFeed article comes up, and it's like the guy. His name's Stephen John, I think, or whatever. Sounds like a fake name, doesn't it? Stephen John. He before he did Blippi, he was trying to make a name for himself doing these jackass kinds of things. And there was a video that was out on the internet of him taking a dump on his buddy's chest. No joke.
Bro.
No joke. Yeah.
And this guy, wait, and this
Was
guy
that like
does,
in a bathroom stall or something?
I didn't see the video.
And
I
this
didn't
guy
see it,
does
but I seem to
children's
remember something
things?
like him climbing up a bathroom
Yeah.
stall and taking a dump on the guy on the toilet or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was kind of like a extreme. Yeah, no joke, man. This is Blippi. Yeah, so there you go.
When he was in college.
pulled the curtain. Yeah, and he was like in this article I was reading because they tried to ask him about it, and he was just like, you could tell it was like, I knew people were going to find this. And he's trying to explain it was stupid. It shouldn't have did it. It's not funny. I'm very embarrassed that part of my career. And
how many millions has this guy probably made?
a lot. He's got his own merch now.
man, we missed out on the whole YouTube. Like, we did a lot of dumb stuff, but we never heard anybody.
Yep.
We heard ourselves.
Well, you did.
Jokes aside, but like, even stuff I remember, like, oh gosh, And actually, Gary, it was Heather sent me one time when the Imagination Movers first came out. She sent me a link on Facebook. She's like, "How is this not what you ended up doing for a living? like just singing with kids and doing it and gone viral, right? And they made their money."
So the thing with Blippi, right, is like you watch he does a bunch of stuff with heavy equipment, and it's like you see him operating the stuff. It's like, oh, he knows what he's doing.
One.
He knows how to work.
My favorite one though is the one shot take where he's just in the playground.
Yes,
there's and the kids are right into this, and I'm just impressed at the camera work of he did this in one take.
I know, right?
It's like a 23-minute video.
That's what makes you ugly. It's like you look at his original videos, and you can tell he used to be just him, and he'd sit the camera on a tripod, and he'd run around in the field with a lawnmower, going and mow the lawn for 15 minutes, and the video's got like 5 million views, 6 million views.
Like there's some Cameron. He runs around the playground and he shoots the balls out of the thing, and then he goes down the slide and yells, "We!" and let's go to the sandbox, boys and girls. And that's all. It's a 23-minute, 10 million views.
Yeah. Whatever.
Kids are just obsessed with it. It's how he's dressed and the voice he's putting on, and they're just obsessed with it. They can't.
And like what drives Trish crazy is like you can tell he doesn't script anything. So sometimes his sentences are just like super awkward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, look at what it is. Like, you know what I mean? He's always saying, like, look at what it is. It's like, what a weird way to say that. You know, like, look at what it is.
Must be talking about his bank account. Look at what it is.
All to the point of, I remember I didn't know what you told me, what you just told us, but I remember one time talking to Phil about it or whatever, because Jarena was obsessed with the Blippi.
Yes.
And we're looking up, and here's this video of him out of character, showing the new warehouse they bought.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they can shoot stuff upstairs, and his office is downstairs. And now he has 3 other people running channels working for him that he's producing their channel, so he gets a kickback.
Isn't that wild? Like from
off these commercials, like these YouTube videos.
Well, it's like, in wrestling, Danhausen.
Yes.
This Danhausen guy, no one heard about him. And he goes into this crazy character. He's like, I'm very nice, but very evil. And he's got all face painted up. And he's
you need to see this guy.
So
he can wrestle, but he's nothing to write home about.
No.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter because his character is so hilarious, and he got over on YouTube.
Yeah.
Really?
That now people would fight over him.
Well, Jim Cornette, of all people, who's the most jaded person in wrestling. Like
old school, probably.
He said... Everybody else goes, oh, yeah, this is an act. Like, other guys say, yeah, this is act. This guy never breaks character.
He never breaks kayfabe.
Never breaks it.
He never
ever.
breaks character.
So he's like, they're like, why are you in the wrestling business? So I can have a golden jet car. And they're like, he's serious.
Because he's weird. Like he's
just
up.
so strange. He talks like this, and his name is Danhausen, and he has Fanhausens, and this is how he talks all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah, no. I want to buy a car housing.
Yeah. Everything's Hausen. Like everything. He adds Hausen onto every single thing, and he goes, I'm very, very evil, but very, very nice. And he curses people.
What's his like... He was a wrestler? Who's he wrestling?
He was a wrestler, and he said he wasn't getting over.
And he's okay.
And he was okay.
Okay.
And
he's okay. Like he can wrestle.
He can wrestle, but
where did he wrestle? Like
Indies, Ring of Honor for a while. Ring of Honor for a little while.
Okay.
But then he just suddenly started doing all these funny clips. Like he'd be like, he'll walk in randomly. Someone's doing like a whole bunch of wrestlers have vlogs. All of a sudden he'll show up in them. They're like, "What are you doing here?" Danhausen's looking for the monies. And he's always about money, right? Yeah. So he goes to CM Punk. He goes, we're here at Wrestling Tees, and he's got his arms. He's always got his hands kind of crouched, like he's like the Crypt Keeper or something like that.
Okay.
And he's like, and he calls like Chris Jericho Judas Jericho. Like he doesn't call them by their real names. He screws everybody's names up intentionally. Like Judas, what does he call him? Jericho Judas. You're Jericho Judas, and he's like always like an orange cat. Like he makes fun of every single person, but that's how he talks.
But he got over on YouTube.
Yeah,
wow.
He'd go into a toy store. In character with his face all painted up like he's Nosferatu.
Really?
Yeah, and he's picking stuff.
And he's talking like that.
The whole
and he's
time.
saying how he keeps saying how evil he is, but he doesn't swear. He won't curse. He won't put any language on his channel. And he says that.
And if someone says a bad word, he just looks at them. He goes, his eyes are big. He goes, I curse you.
Yeah, like his character gets upset at it.
Yeah.
Really?
And like everybody thinks he just pops up out of nowhere. Now he's in AEW. So in the middle of a huge like street fight,
and everybody's selling to him,
and everybody is, and they all of a sudden they reached under the Adam Cole reaches under to get a chair, and he pulls it out, and then all of a sudden he just pops up out of the ring, and he he points at them because that's what he does. He kind of does this weird point thing, and he curses people, and they're like, "What is like all the wrestlers?"
And
like,
they'll sell to him, but he falls off the ladder because Downhausen pointed at them.
William Regal had a cramp the other night.
I gave William Regal cramps.
William Regal is still wrestling?
Yeah, that was my next question.
He's an AEW.
He's an AEW. He's
with like the coolest faction I've seen in a long time.
But he must be, how old is he?
He's a man.
Now he's an old man.
He's the Blackpool Fight Club.
Combat Club.
Yeah, Combat Club.
Yeah.
It's John Moxley, Christopher Daniels, and Wheeler Yuta.
Brian Danielson.
Oh, Brian Danielson, right?
Christopher Daniels is completely different, dude.
Yeah, it's true. True.
William Regal. Wow, that's okay.
Yeah,
He looks good too.
he does look good. Yeah, but yeah, Danhausen does that the whole time. Everybody loves him. And Jim Cornette, they asked him, they're like, "Hey, do you want to see him wrestle?" He goes, "No, I do not want to see him wrestle." They're like, on his podcast, and the other guy goes, "Why not? Why would I do that? What he's doing right now, I'm so happy, and I don't want to dispel the myth. Like he said,
can't wrestle.
He can't wrestle. He said, I don't want to ever see him wrestle. He said,
he has a mystifying superpower that you don't want to reveal.
And Cornette, he just loves it. And Cornette's one of those guys that hates everything, but he loves this because he said he's so honest about it, and he said he never breaks character ever.
Yeah,
like never, ever, ever. And he's always face painted all the time. Like
really,
like said, he walk into a toy store, and all of a sudden someone turn around and be like, "There he is," and he's in the corner going, "Hello." Like it's just random.
Yeah.
And
wow.
That's how you get over.
But it's interesting. It's hard to be a wrestler now. Like imagine the wrestlers we grew up with, but like the internet being what it is, and just videos of them walking around department stores.
I guess it's funny, but like the way that he got over in wrestling is how Blippi got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you stick to your guns and you just do it, and it'll eventually. Yeah. And I mean, it takes off or it doesn't. Like you look at our podcast.
Yeah.
So this is episode 31. This will get us over 10,000 downloads in just 31 episodes.
Yeah.
So we record one a month, right? Well,
ish.
If we record ish, so if we but then you do the math on. So if you had recorded 2 a month with the, you know what I mean?
We're in the same conversation as Blippi.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, it's not at least Tupi and Vinu.
We'll just completely rip the theme. This podcaster, it's so much to learn about. It'll make you want to shout, Blippi! And then we start talking.
Bush League!
It's a parody, so it's allowed.
Yeah.
Wonder if we can get him on the show.
Yeah. Blippi?
No, but do you know how many different people I've had tell me, especially for whatever reason over the last year, that if like YouTube had have existed when we were younger, or why didn't like I don't know,
Gary's grand entrance when we wrestled that time with the car screeching, that would have been a YouTube.
Yeah, but I even think of because we didn't post any of that stuff.
No,
but
even go on YouTube now.
No. But even like Impractical Jokers is a show. They've done very well. We used to do that stuff for fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
Hey Gary, I dare you to go talk to that cashier over there and pretend you want to buy this that they don't even sell here. Okay. They just filmed it. They're millionaires. Like it's honestly like we used to do that anyway.
Remember in your birthday, the Scavenger hunt that time?
Yeah.
We were trying to find the license plate, and there was a cop car, and everybody's looking around. I'm like, I'll just go talk to her. Hi! And she's like, hi. We're on a kind of a scavenger hunt, and can we take a picture with you in your car? And she's like,
what was that for?
Sure.
Tyson's birthday.
Now, I have no memory of what he's talking about, but I do remember there was a scavenger hunt on my birthday.
He wasn't with us. It was Heather and me and you and Katie. And
yeah. That was so you had to find what was it, Gary? A certain number on a license plate, and we just happened to pull in the Civic Center. There was a cop car. I was like, "There's one," and they're all like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just gonna go talk to her." Hi, we're in a scavenger hunt for my buddy's birthday. You couldn't take a picture of the front of your license plate of your car, could you? She's like looking at me like, "What?" I was like, "She's city police," and she's like, "Sure." I'm like, "Thanks." Let's take a picture. We run off. They're like, "What? Well, I can't believe you did that." I'm like, "She was just sitting there and." We want to win.
Should have did it my way, buddy. Scavenger hunt from the church. We needed a picture with someone in uniform too, but we were speeding into town, and I got pulled over, got a ticket, and then asked them if I could get a picture. He said, "Where are you going in such a hurry?" I said, "Actually, sir, we're in a scavenger hunt, and I'm race people to town.
It's my birthday.
He said, well, you need to slow down. I said, okay, sir, I understand. I also need a picture with someone in uniform. So that picture is somewhere of him handing me the ticket, smiling, and me smiling, taking the ticket.
That should be your.
That should be your
social-
screen.
Oh, yeah, that should be.
I'd love to find that thing. I don't know where that is.
That's awesome.
Nice. Good times.
Yeah.
It'd be like those guys that took the scooter down in Fredericton. What street did they go down? Smythe? No. They call it the flux capacitor. I know it's weird. If you YouTube it, they take a scooter and they go down one of the big hills in Fredericton on a scooter.
Regent?
No, it was the middle one.
Smythe?
It was Smythe. They were coming down Smythe and you could see
Amateurs.
him. You could see the eyes getting bigger as he's starting. They're like picking up speed. And he's like, and his hands are just vibrating. It's like, man, you hit one pebble. You're just you're launched. But there's a huge pile of people who viewed that one.
Huh.
Oh, man. I remember Regent Street in Fredericton. My snowboard. I sat on the back. Brad sat on the front, sat on a snowboard. The plow pulled over, tooted twice, and just waved to us like, yeah!
Till you get to the bottom of the hill at Harvey's.
Oh, man, yeah. You swear you're hitting Mach speed. It's 2:30 in the morning going down Regent Street. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, we traveled through time for a second.
Yes! That's right! Special relativity! Einstein, let's go! People need to know.
You obsess about the weirdest things.
I really do.
And that brings it all back around.
Brings it all back around, yep.
There you go.
Well,
I think this is, since this is
I was
episode
just gonna
31, we could give our thoughts on all 31 NHL teams, and then we'll close it off.
well, Jeremy, that's too bad because there's 32 teams now. So
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Next episode.
32 thoughts. Yeah.
Gary, release the Kraken.
Because I still call it 31
I know.
thoughts, the podcast.
But it's 32
But it is
thoughts,
32, yes. Sorry. Yeah. Well, yes, next episode we'll do that.
Elliot Friedman. You're my Mortimer.
May you travel so fast that time completely stops and you're frozen forever.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, we'll catch you on 32.
Yep.
I said that really weird.
You did. We got to use it, though. Jay, what are you looking for? To the stop button? Or?
Well, yeah, I can't see anything. Oh, here. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop it now.
What, I thought
Bye,
you
everybody.
I thought you said you couldn't see.
I think I can use the space bar. Okay, bye.
The Mason Lodge, whatever. And he ran out to his room and got 2 pair of what I hope are clean socks.
Even though
And we put them over the microphones. So when you hear Jeremy has a Captain America sock shoved in his face over this microphone, and for whatever reason, me and Cameron have crabs.
You just wasted some of your life listening to the Bush League podcast. You must stop what you're doing right now. Like and subscribe and leave a 5-star rating. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and like us on Facebook.